Hello everyone, my name is Caitlin Allen. I will be presenting my artifacts alignment with PLO for the MAE program. I do want to let you know that I will be reading off of a script, so that way I do stay within my time limit. Today's presentation is organized into 5 sections. I'll begin by reviewing the MAE program learning outcomes. Next, I'll discuss the artifacts I selected from each course and explain how they align with specific program learning outcomes. I'll explain why each artifact represents an introductory, developing, or mastery experience. Near the end, I will share 2 professional teaching artifacts that demonstrate my prior learning for my cleared California teaching credential. Finally, I'll conclude with a reflection on my overall growth within the Master of Arts in Education program. The MAE program is centered around 4 program learning outcomes. PLO 1 focuses on integrating technology into instruction, assessment, and learning. PLO 2 emphasizes designing meaningful learning experiences that consider learner characteristics while using assessment to improve learning. PLO 3 focuses on applying practitioner research methods to improve instructional practice. Finally, PLO 4 emphasizes reflective practice, professional ethics, and continuous professional growth. As I discuss each artifact, I will explain how it demonstrates one of these outcomes and how my knowledge and skills developed throughout this program. This table here provides an overview of my selected artifacts. Each artifact is aligned with one of the program learning outcomes and identified as either introductory, developing, or mastery as experience. The table illustrates my progression throughout the program. Each coursework introduced foundational concepts, middle coursework strengthened my ability to apply and analyze these concepts, and later coursework and classroom practice demonstrate mastery through independent instructional design, assessment, and practitioner research. This practitioner research study analysis introduced me to educational research. During this assignment, I developed a research question, analyzed empirical research study, evaluated the research methods, examined the findings and limitations, and reflected on how research can improve classroom instruction. This artifact aligns with PLO 3 because it introduced me to practitioner research methods and demonstrated how educational research can inform instructional decisions. Since this was my first experience completing this type of research analysis, I identified it as an introductory experience. This assignment here also helped me understand the APA citation method. In my educational background of bachelor's English education, I focused on MLA citation. So learning the APA format was quite new to me. So this class here really helped me set up for the other courses within the program. My artifact from EID 600 is an instructional digital toolkit created using Google Sites. Using the ADDIE instructional design model, I designed a technology-enhanced instructional website that incorporated learning theory, authentic assessment, Common Core state standards, and ISTE standards. This artifact aligns with PLO 1 because it demonstrates meaningful integration of technology into ISTE standards. This artifact aligns with PLO 1 because it demonstrates meaningful integration of technology into instruction and assessment. I identified this as a developing experience because it strengthened my ability to intentionally design technology-rich learning experiences. What I appreciated most about this assignment here is I implemented it into my real-world classroom. I actually had students create their own Google site book blog. So instead of writing a book report traditional essay, they designed their competency within a Google site. This artifact is my education philosophy. This assignment challenged me to reflect on equity, inclusion, culturally responsive teaching, bilingualism, and beliefs about education. It aligned with PLO 4 because it encouraged continuous reflection on my instructional philosophy and professional responsibilities. I identified it as a developing experience because it helped me shape my identity as an instructor while connecting educational research to my own classroom practices. This artifact is my organizational culture analysis completed in EDA 641. Using Shane's organizational culture model, I analyzed the California State University Chico by evaluating its organizational culture, leadership practices, mission, and institutional effectiveness in higher education. This artifact aligned with PLO 4 because it required reflective leadership and evidence-based recommendations for organizational improvement. I identified as a developing experience because it broadened my understanding of educational leadership beyond the classroom setting. This type of class helped me strengthen my professional learning team involvement on my school site, and it also helped me understand the higher education administrators a bit more on campus. My artifact from ITI 662 focused on bilingualism in a globalized world. Through this assessment, I explored academic language development, language acquisition, applied linguistics, and instructional strategies that support multilingual learners. This artifact aligns with PLO 2 because it emphasizes designing instruction that considers learner characteristics and language development. I identified it as a developing experience because it strengthened my ability to plan instruction that meets the diverse needs of multilingual students. My artifact from ITI 664 is a presentation. For this assignment, I investigated how well secondary educators are prepared to teach foundational literacy skills to English learners. I developed a focused research question, synthesized peer-reviewed literature, and analyzed evidence across multiple research studies, and identified instructional implications for classroom practice. This artifact aligns with PLO 3 because it strengthened my ability to conduct literature reviews, analyze educational research, and use evidence to support instructional decisions. I identified this as a developing experience because it expanded my practitioner research skills and prepared me for designing my own practitioner research proposal later on in this MAE 670 class. This artifact is an evaluation plan focused on self-management skills within SEL. I completed this as a presentation to serve as professional development. Using the CASEL framework, I designed a comprehensive evaluation plan that incorporated authentic assessment, data collection, and evidence-based decision-making. This artifact aligns with PLO 2 because it demonstrates how assessment can be intentionally designed to improve student learning. I identified this as a mastery experience because I independently designed an evaluation system that could realistically be implemented into a classroom as well as used as professional development. The next two artifacts represent prior learning experience from my professional teaching experience because I have a cleared teaching credential. This classroom example here is my syllabus. The syllabus represents classroom expectations, procedures, grading policies, routines, and overall expectations of the class, which serves as a classroom management experience and mastery. I identified it as mastery because I have been teaching for 8 years in the classroom. I know that teachers are constantly needing to professional develop themselves and to improve, but I do think that based on the IDM table, I have met mastery with building classroom management and a syllabus. My last artifact for my cleared teaching credential unit representation is actually a student project that I created. So instead of having students write a traditional plot diagram representation of what they read, my students read Canterbury Tales, and I had them create a board game to show where the travelers went from start to end of the story to show the progression of the plot. So this was a project learning experience that I did, and it represents PLO 2. It represents PLO 2 because it demonstrates my ability to design engaging learning experiences that promote critical thinking while allowing students to demonstrate their understanding in authentic and creative ways. I identified this as a mastery experience because I independently designed this and implemented it and refined this project with my own students in my own classroom. My final graduate artifact comes from MAE 670, and it represents the accumulation of my practitioner research skills. For this project, I developed my own research question, completed a literature synthesis, designed a research methodology, and created a data collection plan, as well as justified each component using current educational research. This artifact aligns with PLO 3 because it demonstrates my ability to independently apply practitioner research methods to improve instructional practices. I identified this as a mastery experience because it represents the highest level of independent scholarly work completed during my graduate program. As I reflect on this portfolio, I can clearly see my professional growth throughout the MAE program to receive my Master of Arts in Education. These artifacts demonstrate my development across all 4 program learning outcomes while illustrating my progression from introductory learning experiences to the mastery level application. Throughout the program, I strengthened my ability to integrate technology into instruction, design meaningful learning experiences, conduct practitioner research, and engage in reflective professional practice. Most importantly, this program has strengthened the knowledge and skills I bring to my classroom every day. Combined with my experience as a classroom teacher, the MAE program has reinforced my commitment to using research, technology, assessment, and reflective practice to improve learning outcomes for all students. Thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation, and I appreciate the opportunity to reflect on my professional journey, and I look forward to continuing to grow as an educator throughout my career.